Alright, so back on the big Sportsman 850. We've got this thing in here today. We do have a used transmission, but we're gonna have to swap out an output shaft. We'll get to that. First things first, I gotta get a starter to go in this thing. So, previous owner was gonna do it himself, and I'm guessing he cross-threaded them, or maybe, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe when he was taking them out, he pulled some of the threads out of the actual aluminum case and they were on the bolt. He tried to thread it in, and it just foobarred. I had to put a pull bar on these bolts to even get them out. But I've got them cleaned up, and unfortunately I did not have a tap or die for this. This is an M12 by 1.5, I think is what it is. Mine are 1.75, which is absolutely useless. I still haven't been able to use it on anything, so they're probably going in the garbage. Anyways, all I did was I just took my bolt, and after, putting some heat to it and chipping all the small pieces of aluminum out of it, which worked perfectly fine, I just took my bolt and I set it in the back, and then I run it in slow and it'd stop. Had to come out a little bit, go back in, do that a couple of times. And when it got to where it wouldn't take the bolt, I'd take the bolt out, spray it with some carb cleaner, just kind of blow the dust out of it, put a little oil on it, and I'd send it back in. Until finally, I went back and forth, till it goes all the way through. And that's what you want. So I've got nice clean threads now. I did grease them, because I want them to not give this problem next time. I think that this held a lot of water in this bell housing area, and that's why it kept going through starters, because it would fill those full of water too. And due to rust and expansion, then you've got the relationship between steel and aluminum already. It caused all the problems we're having. So got them greased, and the starter's about to go back in. All right, after a little bit of aggravation, we have our starter in here, and we've got our battery on charge. This thing is super dead. So we're pretty much now we got a starter on our transmission. I have every part to this machine. I just have to make sure I get everything put back in here. But the transmission is over there. We're going to get it and start putting everything back in here. Alright, so this is us opened up. This is the gear we need to change. You actually have to come through the hole down to get these bolts out. As you can see, it's the input shaft goes in the torque converter. It's broke off. So we've got another shaft right here. This one will fit right in. This is out of a Highlifter, but they're actually identical. But you just drop it right in there. There's not much to it. Alright, we've got our new gear put in here. We got our bolts down torqued. This is a shaft to come out of it. Obviously, it's sheared off. No good. I did go around and clean all the mating surface real good. I'm just getting ready to glue it back up. But everything looks pretty good, man. I think we're going to be alright. That's our case. Going to get them clean. Alright, we're back on the big 850 today. I almost had this rig done yesterday, but I ran into an issue. So on these 850s, they require a specific puller because of the way the output gear works on the transmission, which is this right here. It has to catch the very tip-top edge of this, because if it goes down inside, it will get those threads. And the bolt that holds this in is wildly specific. It's a left-handed thread, M12 I think is what it is. But it's left-hand thread metric pattern. And I've done this before, way back in the past, and I learned my lesson. Somebody else didn't. If you use the wrong puller on this to catch those threads, you'll never get this bolt in there. I've tried and tried and tried. I've cut the tip off of this. I mean, unless you have the specific tap that fits this model, which is pretty hard to find, you're not going to fix it. So what I ended up doing, after multiple failed attempts of trying to get the threads clean and trying to jam a bolt in there, I took a 1/2 inch by 13 tap, and I drilled out that gear. And I ended up running one of these in there. Big boy. So this is a 1/2 inch by 13 coarse thread bolt. You can pick up at any hardware store. Lowe's has them, is where I got mine. And I ran that in there with some red Loctite. It seems to be holding really well, but we're going to find out. But that's definitely an upgrade to that other bolt. That left-handed thread crap sucks. But with it Loctited, and the amount of thread engagement that I had, we should be good to go. We're going to find out. We're going to run this all around the property and make sure it's good to go, but I think we're going to be all right. So now we can finally finish up putting the rest of the stuff on here, because I'm telling you, I was that close to being done yesterday. Well, let's get it. Well, she lives. It is absolutely obnoxiously loud, but it lives. Clutches are hanging. I tried to tell him probably needed clutches, but he told me to put them on anyway, so here we are. You won't be able to hear me much closer, so I'll just do a quick walk around. like I said, obnoxiously loud, but it gets the job done, I guess. I asked him if he wanted to put an exhaust on it, he said no, so whatever, I guess. Well, that's it, y'all. Thanks for watching.